A day in the life of a somewhat desperate actress. 3 months earlier. 8th callback. For a soap. I checked for lipstick on my teeth for the umpteenth time. The amount of gloss I'd slapped on made me feel slimy. My lips felt like they weighed 10 pounds, but when in Rome... The waiting room was filled with gals half my age. At 40, I was considered over the hill, but I'd somehow made it this far in the search for the newest character on the hit soap opera, The Ocean is Deeply Moving. What am I doing here? I muttered to myself. I didn't like soaps. I didn't watch soaps. I also didn't have a job at the moment. Hi, I'm Rhoda Spark, a prepubescent, large-bosomed, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed youngster to my left said. I'm Cecily Bloom, I replied, wishing I was invisible. Making small talk while internally debating why I'd even shown up was distracting. I know, she gushed. You're amazing. Loved you in Camp Bite. Rhoda wore a miniskirt that revealed her barely there pink panties. Her extremely low-cut crop top was obscene. Making eye contact was difficult, due to the fact I was pretty sure one of her nips had popped out. Again, I wanted to slap my own face for being there. However, I was a very polite former child star. Ending up in the rags for being mean to a fan, even if we were competing for the same crappy job, wasn't my thing. Thank you, I said, doing my best not to reach over and pull her shirt up. The nip slip was most likely on purpose. Who was I to fix her game? Maybe it worked for her. Watched it religiously when I was in the 1st grade, she squealed. My smile felt brittle on my lips. I'd just been bitch-slapped by a teenager named Rhoda with an exposed boob. Awesome. I'd told my agent numerous times that I didn't want to do daytime TV. However, here I was. I had no one to blame but myself. I'd accepted the audition. And with each callback, I'd started to want the job. It didn't even matter that the character was named Bambi Boo Blakely, a neurosurgeon who wore 6-inch heels and baked pies for the poor in her off time. Not to mention the ghost of her ex-husband still lived with her. Nope. My need to win outweighed my good judgment and taste by a long shot. One by one, the gals went into the room to read the stomach-churning scene about how difficult it was to be taken seriously as a sexy neurosurgeon who had metaphysical and aerobic sex with a ghost. The dialogue was absurd. I'd rewritten it so I didn't erupt into hysterical laughter when I read it aloud. That might have been why I'd been called back. I was the only actress who hadn't sounded like a freaking idiot. One by one, each of them was dismissed. Some left pissed, some exited in tears. Rhoda, the nip-slip gal, was devastated. I'd almost told her she might not want to expose herself at her next audition, but she was gone so fast I missed the opportunity. The only actress left was the one currently in the room, and me. The fact that I could book the job was horrifying. The fact that I might not was terrifying. My warring instincts told me to run while there was still time. My need to win insisted I stay. The reality that there were multiple conversations going on in my head was an indicator that I'd lost my mind. I wasn't sure which voice to listen to. They were all loud. Maybe I'd missed my calling in show business. I was one hell of a script doctor. However, the magic for me was in front of the camera. Hence, I was at the 8th callback for a piece of junk. We're ready to see you, Cecily, the 5'0" casting director said, examining me with obvious dismay. What? I asked, alarmed. Had I spilled something on my clothes? Shit, that would suck. I'd dressed with care. My skirt was so tight, one could probably see my religion, and the blouse was low-cut. Not nip-slip low, but low enough for a bit of cleavage, perfect for a surgeon who wore Jimmy Choos to operate.